for the record. It's good! And there it is!
Stephen Curry has stretched the effective three-point line so far that opposing defenses now treat half the court like a danger zone. Today we'll break down the exact pieces that make Curry a walking scoreboard. The release, the feet, the reads, the practice habit you can start tonight. And why copying his principles beats copying his form. Quick challenge, I'll name a stat by the end that'll shock you. Guess Curry's average release time in the comments. If you're right, I'll pin your comment. Game on. People call Curry a natural, but that label hides the truth. His shot is engineered, layer by layer. Coaches who've worked with him describe thousands of deliberate reps focused on tiny, repeatable details. A dead center hand pocket, a locked elbow path, a consistent release point, and micro corrections logged over weeks. He didn't stumble into range, he built it by isolating the smallest motions and eliminating variability. That matters because natural excuse is sloppy practice. Curry's work doesn't. If you want his reliability, don't copy the pose, systematize your practice. Start by tracking one measurable metric: release point, release time, or arc. For 30 makes and 30 misses. Then adjust one micro habit until that metric tightens. Actionable takeaway: record one metric tonight and chase consistency, not flash. Curry's release is a masterclass in paradox. Insanely quick, yet mechanically compact and repeatable. He shortens the path from catch to finish. Tight elbow, hand in the cookie pocket, and a firm wrist snap. So the final 0.2 seconds do the heavy lifting. That compactness reduces the window defenders have to contest, while a deliberately high arc buys margin on deep looks. He also times his shoulders and legs to feed energy into the shot, so speed never sacrifices rhythm or elevation. Practice like Curry. Take 30 reps from 3 spots: wing, top, corner. Focus every rep on accelerating the last tiny fraction of the motion while holding your arc and release point steady. Picture Curry curling off a screen, catching the ball, and in the time it takes you to blink, he's already in his shot. That blink is built on footwork and balance, the invisible tempo that makes a quick release possible. His feet create a platform, a soft but decisive plant, hips square to the rim, and a tiny push through the toes that converts leg drive into consistent elevation. When those micro timings shift, the release wanders. When they're locked, everything else follows. The fix isn't flash. It's drills that force a repeatable base. One-step catch and shoots, landing on balance reps, and shooting off a stationary jab to lock hip alignment. Video your reps and watch the feet first. The little dip before Curry's shot gets mocked as a quirk, but it's actually a rhythm setter, a tiny energy store that times everything downstream. That dip sinks the legs, hips, and shoulders, so the release point becomes predictable and repeatable. It also hides the true start of the shot. Defenders see the dip, not the instant the ball leaves your hand. The trick is consistency. A controlled small dip that stays the same distance every rep. Too deep or uneven, and it becomes a telegraph. Too shallow, and you lose leg power. Drill to try 4 sets of 12. Catch, 1-count dip, and shoot. Use a metronome to lock tempo and record to ensure depth matches each rep. Curry's range isn't just about how far he shoots. It's about trajectory. Launching from 30-plus feet only works if your arc and release are rock solid. A higher arc increases the sweet spot over the rim, giving the ball more room to fall through the cylinder, but it also demands more consistency in release angle and velocity. Curry pairs his compact release with enough leg drive and wrist snap to maintain that arc, so long-distance shots carry proper depth without losing touch. The trade-off for most players is strength and repeatability. Add arc without control, and your misses balloon. Drill to try 5 sets of 8 shots from deep, focusing on consistent release angle. Video and measure. Then regress distance if variance grows. Actionable takeaway: increase arc only when your release angle is consistent. Off dribble and catch and shoot are 2 separate weapons in Curry's toolbox, and he treats them that way. Catch and shoot is about absolute rhythm. Instant pocket, locked feet, and an almost reflexive release. Off-dribble shots demand a different chain, creating separation, controlling rotation, and resetting your base mid-movement so the release point stays the same. Curry blends rapid handles with a micro reset, a tiny rebalance in his feet and hips that lets him reproduce the same compact release, even when momentum's carrying him sideways. Practice both separately, reps that prioritize speed and pocket for catch and shoot, and reps that emphasize controlled recovery for off-dribble looks. Curry's shooting isn't just physical, it's cognitive. He builds a visual library of defensive cues, how a closeout squares the hips, where a help defender's weight tips, the micro patterns when a switch becomes advantageous. That mental map lets him decide in split seconds whether to rise, step back, or probe for a pass. You can train it. Reduce thinking time by turning practice into read and react reps. A coach or a partner calls a cover, you simulate the read and fire, or use live closeout drills where the passer must pick the right pass or shot under a 2-second clock. Over and over, you build instinctive templates so the body executes before doubt arrives. Ball handling and shooting are welded together for Curry. The handle isn't a prelude, it's camouflage. He bends defenders with speed changes, crossovers, and eye fakes, then finishes with the same pocket and release they've seen in warm-ups. That lack of telegraphing comes from practicing the transition. Dribble into a pocket that's identical to your catch-and-shoot pocket. Keep your eyes up to read the closeout, and mask your intent with rhythm changes so defenders commit to the wrong action. Curry's range survives crunch time because he trains his shot under metabolic stress, sprint fatigue, quick breaths, and elevated heart rate, so his mechanics stay stable when legs are tired. Replicate that by forcing your body to fire the same pocket and release while out of breath. Example circuit: 5 full-court sprints, baseline to baseline, immediately followed by 5 three-point attempts. 1 from the wing, 1 from the opposite wing, 1 from the top. Repeat until you finish 6 rounds. Track makes a note release consistency on video. If release drifts, reduce sprint intensity or shorten distance until form holds. Conditioning is the margin that turns practice into clutch shooting. Actionable takeaway: add the 6-round sprint 5, shot circuit tonight, and track release consistency. Curry's gravity is as lethal as his jumper. Even when he doesn't shoot, defenders warp toward him, pulling the floor like a magnet and opening seams everywhere else. That off-ball movement, constant cuts, relocations, and flare screens forces defenses to chase shadows. The genius isn't just his range, but how he leverages it. Sprinting baseline to corner, looping through 2 screens, then appearing at the arc in rhythm. Young players copy his deep threes, but ignore his endless motion. Drill to mimic. Run a 30-second non-stop off-ball pattern. Corner, wing, top, relocate. Then catch and shoot at each stop. Do 5 rounds, record pace, and track makes. Building stamina for constant motion is the untapped key. Curry's shot selection isn't reckless, it's calculated. Every deep three you see is backed by data, practice percentages, defender positioning, and time on clock awareness. He knows his efficiency doesn't drop as steeply from 28 feet as most players does, so those looks are green lights in his mind. The principle here is marrying instinct to numbers. Track your makes and misses by zone, then build your personal heat map. When you see that you're 40% from the right wing, but 25% from the left corner, you can bias your practice and your game toward higher value shots. Curry's freedom comes from proof in the numbers, not guesswork. Curry's greatest weapon might be invisible: his confidence under pressure. Miss 2, 3, even 5 shots. He'll still launch the 6th without hesitation. That mental toughness is built in practice, simulating pressure, embracing misses, and treating failure as feedback, not finality. He rehearses clutch by creating artificial stakes. Last rep must be a make, or restart the drill. By normalizing stress, the shot becomes immune to fear. For players trying to copy Curry, mindset is as crucial as mechanics. Train your brain. Finish every workout with a must-make shot, announce it out loud, and record the result. Over time, you'll rewire doubt into habit. Curry's routine isn't random. It's a science of micro-habits stacked daily. He warms up with close-range form shots, building touch before stretching range. Then come rhythm drills, off-the-dribble reps, and game speed sequences. Each segment has a narrow focus: pocket consistency, balance, or release angle. By isolating skills, then layering them, he compounds progress without overload. The key lesson: consistency beats marathon workouts. Short, sharp, high-quality reps done every day forge muscle memory that survives fatigue and pressure. To borrow Curry's model, design a 20-minute circuit. 5 minutes of form shots, 5 minutes of rhythm threes, 5 minutes of off-dribble reps, 5 minutes of game speed catch and shoot. Repeat that circuit daily for a month. Tiny details separate good shooters from Curry-level snipers. He tweaks foot angle by a few degrees, shifts hand placement a fraction, or adjusts release height by millimeters. Then tests how it affects consistency. That biomechanical awareness comes from filming nearly every workout and reviewing slow-motion clips to spot deviations invisible in real time. The lesson isn't to obsess over perfection, but to make one small change at a time and measure its impact. Random tweaks destroy rhythm. Controlled experiments build mastery. Drill idea: record 20 shots. Isolate one variable, say foot angle, adjust slightly, then shoot 20 more. Compare make percentage and release consistency side by side. Most players trying to copy Curry make the same mistake. They chase deep threes before they've mastered mechanics. They extend their range with sloppy form, forcing shots with no rhythm, or exaggerate the dip until it's a slow-motion telegraph. The result? Bricks, bad habits, and a false sense of Curry range. What Steph proves is the opposite. His long bombs exist because the fundamentals never break down, not in spite of them. If your release isn't compact, if your feet don't land balanced, range only magnifies the flaws. Correction is simple. Shorten the court first. Nail 70% makes from mid-range with perfect form, then gradually step back, 5 feet at a time, without sacrificing mechanics. Want to borrow Curry's edge tonight? Steal his drills, not just his highlights. One staple, the relocation 3. Pass to a partner, sprint 3 steps to the side, relocate to the arc, and shoot in rhythm. Another is the 2-ball rhythm dribble, alternating bounces while pulling into a jumper, forcing balance and coordination. And then there's the fatigue finisher, sprint baseline to baseline, then pull up from deep training mechanics under exhaustion. These aren't gimmicks. They directly mirror the demands Curry faces in games. Rep them consistently, and your body starts learning to fire compact mechanics, even when tired or moving at full speed. Even Curry misses, but his misses are teachers, not failures. Watch closely. When a shot rims out short, he checks leg drive. When it sails long, he adjusts release speed. When it drifts left or right, he revisits balance. Every miss becomes a diagnostic tool instead of a confidence killer. That's why he can brick 3 in a row and still launch the 4th. Because each attempt sharpens feedback rather than erodes belief. You can do the same. Chart every miss in practice. Label it short, long, left, right, and note the cause. Over weeks, patterns reveal which mechanic slips under fatigue. Curry's legacy isn't just his records, it's how he shifted the geometry of basketball. Kids now grow up practicing 25-footers like free throws, and whole defenses are designed to track him even 30 feet from the rim. But here's the lesson. Copying his exact form won't make you Steph. What matters is adopting his principles. Compact mechanics, relentless conditioning, micro adjustments, and fearless confidence. Those translate across levels and styles. The game evolves because he proved that disciplined skill can redefine limits. Your job isn't to imitate his shot, but to apply his habits to your own body, range, and rhythm. Before we wrap, here's the core takeaway. Curry's shot is not magic. It's mechanics married to mindset. He built range by stacking fundamentals, conditioning under fatigue, training reads, and turning misses into lessons. You don't need his exact form to level up. You need his process. Tonight, pick one drill. Relocation threes, fatigue finishers, or read and react reps. Run it with intent, track the results, and repeat tomorrow. Over weeks, those micro habits snowball into visible progress. That's the Curry blueprint. Relentless repetition with precision and confidence. Actionable takeaway. Pick one Curry drill tonight. Track it, repeat it tomorrow.